Hello and thanks for checking out TheChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Going to do another 6 tickers here because it's Sunday and life's good, and why not? CWBHF, PYX, ACRZF, HEXO, MMNFF, and TCNNF. We're going to be watching on the Farm Bill in the US. I don't think it's going to be this huge catalyst. You know, it's comparable to the Sessions news in my opinion, and that's because the market has had ample time to price in this development occurring. And we had the same thing with Sessions. We had a bunch of articles. Everybody knew that it was a likely scenario that Sessions was not going to stay Attorney General. So we know the Farm Bill is likely to pass at some point. It's just a question of when. So yes, we should see some bullish reaction, and potentially we'll see the bullish reaction leading up into that Farm Bill decision. And it's difficult to follow along exactly when we are going to get that decision, but it does look like it is coming in the near term. So we need to be prepared for that. But what we're going to be watching is these names, Charlotte's Web and PYX, that do have more exposure towards industrial hemp, which the Farm Bill would benefit significantly with national legalization. So what we're watching is tightening ranges on the daily time frame, just like we're looking at it. Most individual names, the Canadian MJ names, the major ones that we already did the video on, they're not getting this kind of follow through that the US MJ names are. So we ended the week disappointing with CGC, with multiple inside bars and names unable to break the high of Thursday to get any follow through on Friday. Yet a lot of these names did get that bull break. So we can clearly say our higher low has been established. Low, high of the bull move, higher low at 1014, and we're going to look for a lower high to form somewhere around the $14 area or so, very roughly, and a tightening range to form into the end of the month. So that's where something we're watching out for, and keeping in mind that the risk to reward favoring the bulls is not significant at these levels because we are anticipating that lower high. Could see another couple days of upside in an ideal world for these bulls, but if I'm going to make any bullish entries on Monday in these names, I personally will likely be taking profit sooner rather than later. So a strong close on CWBHF. The weekly time frame, we can see it, well, that's a bad view with all those upper wicks. We're just going to stick to the daily and the hourly, and when the hourly uptrend is lost, that will be an indication that the daily lower high has been set. So 1219 is the most important short-term support for now, and we'll see if the bulls can maintain that support into Monday with a break of 1286 for continuation. PYX. So this is one to be watching. The weekly time frame gave back the entirety of that bull move, and we're looking for a weekly support level to be established and at least a small bounce. And at this point, even a small bounce at these levels would look like a 20+% move. So let's see if this bullish reversal little doji weekly candlestick can get confirmation with follow through. The daily chart needs follow through as well. Building a base of support down at 1361, the double bottom. The bulls started to show up on Friday, and we're going to be looking if they can break 1532 first thing. Next resistance level is 1584 and then 1819. So after 1584, there's some nice space to the upside for these bulls, and PYX will be on watch for me this week. Could take a position on Monday if we do get a nice break of 1532 and volume behind it. We want to see increased bull volume and more than 860,000 shares traded ideally on Monday. So what I'm going to be doing in the first hour is comparing what does the volume look like compared to the first hour of Friday's volume, and are we going to see increased volume indicating the potential of that continuation move. ACRZF, so this is acreage, which just began trading. Not a lot of price history here. Need to be very cautious. And if you're in this name, have a game plan. What levels are you going to sell? If you are in the profit right now, if you put a stop loss at break even, you have absolutely zero risk. And if we fade down and hit new levels and we have not hit an all-time low yet, then you're going to be able to buy back much cheaper. So you protect your trade and have a profit target. If we hit this level, I'm going to lock in profit before looking for consolidation. So at this point, the bulls must hold the 15-minute uptrend to keep full control. And if we lose that uptrend, then we're going to look to pull back. And again, because we're so close towards that low of the all-time low with the lack of price history, we could see new all-time lows sometime in the next week or two. So again, protect against that. The low is 24.35, actually 24.25 right now. And if 24, I take that back, we actually hit that low at the end of the day, 23.99. So if 23.99 breaks, we're then looking down at 22.30, a lack of support. Just want to be cautious because if we drop down and break 22.30, then we're looking down in the low 20s. And if that breaks, zero support. And we've seen names like T-God and some of these other names that didn't have a lot of price history fall, break their support, and then see a lot of downside follow through on those bear breaks. HEXO, so same setup that we're looking for with the low, high of the bounce, higher low established here at 568, and we're watching for the lower high, and a much more convincing lower high potentially being set now with the pullback on Friday, whereas we look at, again, PYX, or actually CY, or Charlotte's Web here is a much better example with a strong close and follow through compared to HEXO with the weak close. So the hourly uptrend on HEXO is being lost. So we're now looking at a little bit of weakness and resistance of 654. The most important short-term range is support of 568 and resistance of 654. And we'll see whether the bulls were able to see some continuation recovery, but momentum was favoring the bears at the end of the day Friday. So that might be all the bulls can put together in the short term. And MedMen. So MedMen had news about dilution, and then they were halted Friday, and some more details came out about that dilution and just raising funds by issuing shares. So we broke support of 420. That's very notable. That's a long-term lower high and lower low, and that is the market pricing in the additional shares that are going to be added to the float. So we have a clear downtrend to be watching, and as long as this downtrend is intact, the bears have complete control. Let's look at it on the 15-minute time frame. Look at this clear resistance of 420. If we get over 420, previous support, now becoming resistance. 420 was that key support level. Rejection, close right at 420. If we break it, there's a lack of resistance immediately nearby. So that could be good for a day trade if we break 420, because the next level we would be looking up at is 438. So trying for a bounce, but any bounce on the daily time frame is just going to form a lower high, because the last lower high was all the way up at 630. So the bulls have a long way to go to change this daily trend. If you're looking at MedMen long term, there's no rush right now, because we know very likely, unless there's significant bullish news, that we will form a daily lower high and need to consolidate from there to try and change this trend. It's not just going to change the trend overnight. So again, aside from news, nothing to rush into if bullish. The weekly time frame on MedMen does have a little lower high and lower low now because of the reaction to that bearish news. And last, we have TCNNF. Nice equilibrium here. This is one worth watching. 1635, 981 is the low. We had a lower high and a higher low. Support is down at 1020. Resistance is 1446. And we already got that follow through with solid bull volume on Friday. So again, another name that was able to follow through for the bulls, where the Canadian MJ names, the major ones, were not able to get that follow through. Kron was the only one, and it didn't get far before the other names dragged it back down. So worth watching these names in the US. Again, at this point, the risk to reward, anticipating the likelihood of forming a lower high compared to 1446, there's not much space for the bulls here. So I patiently, on a name like this, I would be looking to wait for the equilibrium to tighten and then give me a clear break. For MedMen, I'm not interested until the daily trend changes, so I'm not interested anytime soon. HEXO, also not interested due to the weakness on Friday. Acreage, need to be cautious if we start to consolidate due to lack of support. PYX is probably going to have the most interest for me on Monday, just because the bounce is just now getting started, and there is pretty good risk reward in terms of the amount of upside we could see, where we've pulled back significant percentages here. If the bull volume does start to show up, we could see that bull momentum pick back up again as well. And Charlotte's Web is definitely one of the stronger names as well, but it's a similar scenario to Trueleave. I don't even know how to say that. It's the first time I've ever said the name of the company. But we're looking for a similar setup to that. And it's, again, the risk to reward of knowing that a lower high is going to be the most likely scenario and trying to eke out some bull move before that lower high could be a little high risk. So want to be sure to protect any bullish entries in any of these trades as always. And we'll see if that farm bill momentum carries over into Monday with some hype as well. I appreciate you watching. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you on Monday.